Hello again, friends. I'm Julia again. My pronouns are they, them, and I am a stitcher, a nurse, a knitter, an activist, currently living in Ottawa, Ontario, originally from the United States, and you might be able to hear my dog barking in the background. From Philadelphia, well, where I lived the past 12 years of my life, as you can see by the portrait, by the abstract painting behind me on the sofa. A local to me artist did this, and it's the skyline of Philadelphia. Let me see. That's City Hall. And that's the Comcast spin-out building. And I think that's Blue Cross. If you're new here, welcome, hello. If you're returning, hello, and thank you for coming back. And everyone who commented on my previous video, thank you so much. Like, you really know how to make someone feel loved. I still have a few comments to respond to, and but yeah, that was great. And those of you who gave me a shout out, like Garrett, and yeah, I just thank you. That was really great. So 'tis the season. 'Tis the season for overly ambitious planning, right? So that's, sorry, I heard a door open upstairs. 'Tis the season for ambitious planning, sometimes overly ambitious planning. You can come down.
I want to know if you want me to take the dog out for a walk or if he's bugging you or what.
Whatever.
Okay, you don't need me to do that. So
yeah.
If he keeps getting loud, I'll do it, but if he's just barking a couple of times, I'm not worried about it.
Cool. I'm not going to edit that out because I'm tired. So I'm going to talk today about some goals I would like to accomplish in 2026. So that will include stitching, knitting, and reading goals. And spinning too, actually. Will I get overwhelmed before the year is out? Yeah, I will. Will I get all of this done? Probably not. Did I kind of get swept up in the planning and the dreaming? Yeah. Is any of this a life or death situation? No. No, it is not. I have notes on the sofa cushion here, so if you see me looking down, I'm referring to my notes. And if you can hear the dog, I apologize. He's supposed to be napping. All right. So I think I'll start by just showing you a couple of things that I have been working on craft-wise. I have a new start just because I felt like it. I'm kind of enamored of bookmarks. And a couple of years ago, I purchased this bookmark kit from, it's a British company, Textile Heritage. They do a lot of cute British things and reproduction things. And I think they have an Outlander themed bookmark called Sassenach. I'm not into Outlander, so I didn't feel moved to get that. But anyway, I got the robins. So this is a full kit. So there's felt to back it and a little tassel. And I just thought they were cute. I like birds. And this is not the kind of robin we have on this side of the Atlantic. So I thought it was cute. It's on a 16 count Ada. I actually didn't bother to count it, but I'm using everything that came in the kit. And I started this a couple of nights ago thinking like, oh, I could maybe get this finished before the new year if I put my mind to it. I'm not going to be able to, let's be real. But here's what I've got so far. And I like it. It feels a little bulky because you stitch 3/1 on this Aida, but I'm not too mad at it. And I like this because I can keep this by my desk and just stitch on it as and when I don't need a magnifier, which I have, I've reached that point in my life where for most of my stitching, I need a magnifier. My glasses are new this year. I think I got them in October. I went to the eye doctor and she very gently informed me that I now need progressive lenses. So that was a little bit of the Grim Reaper kind of walking by and like playing with your hair as he goes by, just like, I'm gonna get you. Not now, but soon. So, you know, that feeling. Kind of like, as a millennial, kind of like when you refer to AOL Instant Messenger and people look at you like you have 3 heads. You know that feeling? Yeah. Anyway. So I have that. And I'm working on a pair of socks that, okay, so there's a story here. So the Ottawa Valley Spinners and Weavers Guild, of which I am not a member yet, but they have, in the fall every year, have a little market, and they get yarn dyers and people who raise sheep and people who sell hand-spun yarn and people who sell their weaving and people who teach their weaving, people who teach spinning, people who sell knitting and spinning accoutrement, all that stuff. Come to Ottawa for a weekend and just have like a little trunk sale. And we went this year. Obviously, we wouldn't have gone last year. We weren't here. And this is a gradient yarn. I'm knitting a pair of socks. They are all in a 2x2 rib. I'm trying to knit them 2 at a time. It's the kind of yarn where I want to use every last bit of it, and therefore toe up is definitely the way to go because I can just knit till I run out of yarn and cast off. These are the rib socks. They are mindless when you don't have to think about doing increases for the toes in 2x2 rib, or in the case of where I am now, do German short row heel in 2x2 rib. Then you kind of have to concentrate. But other than that, they're pretty fun. And this kind of ribbing is very, very stretchy. So it should fit most people's feet. Although because it stretches this way. And because it stretches this way, you kind of have to knit them maybe 2 inches longer than you normally would, just to account for the shift in fabric and make sure that, you know, it will actually fit your foot. These are from October Knits, which is based in Perth, Ontario, and they are trans and queer owned, and they also sell hand-dyed fiber. And they had a Progress Pride flag themed set of minis, which was tempting, except I didn't know what I would knit with it. So this is Superwash Blueface Leicester sock in the colorway Get in the Robot, which, if you are an anime fan, is kind of a silly reference to Neon Genesis Evangelion. And if you're not an anime fan, don't worry about it. It's just pretty yarn, right? Anyway, like this blurp, this violet purple into like this neon green. And that's gonna be fun. So those are for me. Don't often knit for me. I still have to knit Josh a hat. I still have to knit my sister-in-law some slippers, and we're just letting that all go. You know, they'll get done when they get done. No pressure, right? 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 So that's kind of currently what I'm futzing with. So in terms of goals for 2026, I'm trying to think of how to arrange this so that it makes sense to you. Where? Here. So, Gamer by Medusa Dollmaker looks like that. Where I am looks like this. I haven't worked on this for probably about 5 days. That's okay, I needed a little break. My goal for 2026 is I would like to get this this row of pages finished. And if I can get even further than that, that would be great. But if I don't, I'm not going to sweat it. So this is an old Gecko Rouge kit. You cannot get this pattern on Gecko Rouge anymore, but you can get it directly from the artist, Medusa Dollmaker. I think so. I tried to look for a website and I couldn't find one, but I know there are other stitchers out there who are stitching this who purchased it from Medusa Dollmaker and not from Gecko Rouge. I bought the kit from Gecko Rouge, so I am using 25 count, I think this is Magic Guide. I prefer Easy Grid, which is a 10 by 10 grid. This is a 20 by 20, and it makes counting, especially when you're on full coverage, it makes it tricky. But we're persevering. And I am stitching this 1/1 full cross. Have you ever seen the back? I could show you the back. It looks horrendous, but it's full coverage. It's supposed to look horrendous. There we go. So yeah, goal number 1, finish the second row of pages on this bad boy. Okay. Goal number 2 is to finish something that really has needed to be finished for like 2 years at this point. Like there's no reason this isn't done other than the fact that I'm lazy. And when I hit a road bump, I throw a fit and put things in timeout. This is the Starry Night sampler by City Stitcher. Oh geez, how many years has it been? People were stitching this. Emily C stitched this. Olivia B stitched this. Diana It Is Kismet stitched this. And those are the ladies who enabled me. What I have done is stolen a leaf from Olivia B's book, and rather than stitching the name Eleanor York in the setter, I am stitching Carl Sagan. The year that Olivia stitched this is the year that Tom Petty died, and you should go and look at it. So she put Tom Petty in here, and rather than the alphabet at the top, she put a song lyric, You Belong Among the Wildflowers, and the dates of his birth and death. And so I chose to do mine as a tribute to Carl Sagan. And my quote is, I don't want to believe, I want to know. And I'm stitching this 2/1 on a 36 count linen. This is Nightshade by Color and Cotton. I'm using a combination of DMC and Color and Cotton threads. I really don't have that much more to go. What's giving me trouble is I keep miscounting when I try to stitch Carl's name. I think I have to rip it all out again. It's off by one, or I might just say to heck with it and leave it as it is, because who's gonna know but you and me. There's my quote. I couldn't fit, so fortunately, fortunately, he was born in the 1900s and died in the 1900s, so his dates fit here. So really, what do I have to do? I have to finish his name. I have to finish the flowering vine up there, and then I just need to do some satin stitches at the very top, under here, and down here. So yes, one of my goals is to finally finish this. I would welcome feedback for this stitching location. By the way, I'm not in my office today. I'm in my living room, and I've got big windows right here. So even on a relatively overcast day, like today, I thought it would be, the lighting wouldn't be too terrible. But if you feel like chiming in with your opinion, please do. Okay, another goal, which is finish the Femurs and Fungi Sal, which is like 3 years old at this point. Who did the Femurs and Fungi Sal? Was it Fine Frog Stitching? I think it might be Fine Frog Stitching. I was stitching it during the sal itself, and I was having such a good time. And then I think I just got overwhelmed, which I do with mystery stitch-alongs sometimes. And I got behind, and that was that. But what does it look like finished? It will look like that when it's finished. And I am stitching mine 2/2 on a 32 count linen from Color and Cotton in Salem. And I have a wide piece of fabric. And this is stitched with all the called for DMCs. Here it is back here. Here's some close-ups. And that's where she goes. So yeah, that is also a goal to finish this year, finally. Another goal, every year I knit my daughter a pair of socks for her birthday. And in 2026, in November, she's turning 16. I don't know how that happened either, other than, you know, time just keeps them. The years stop coming and they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming. You know, that's just how it goes. And because, excuse me, something fell. Because it's the 16th year of her life, I thought I would do special socks. So I'm going to knit her a pair of German stockings by Cookie A. They look like this. They are beautiful knee-high socks with a 1x1 twisted rib at the top and a very beautiful cable pattern down the side, cable and moss stitch pattern that goes down the side and over the top of the foot a little bit. I knit these many years ago. I knit a pair of these for my sister when my sister turned 18. Yeah, for her 18th birthday. And she's 33 now. I would have finished those socks shortly before I got pregnant with Amelia. I don't think she has them anymore. But anyway, so I have knit them. I'm not daunted by them. I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm not sure what yarn I'm going to knit them in. Probably a West Yorkshire Spinners solid, or a similar yarn to that in well, yeah, dark gothy purple. That's probably what I'll do. So those I'm probably going to start knitting a lot sooner than I start knitting her birthday socks. Normally I start knitting her birthday socks in late September for a late November birthday, just to give myself plenty of time. It doesn't normally take me 2 months to knit a pair of plain socks, but famous last words, right? So yeah, Cookie A's German stockings for Amelia. Do you remember that trunk show that the Ottawa Spinners and Weavers Guild put on that I told you about a few minutes ago? I got a couple of other things there that I would like to play with this year. One of which is this really cool sock blank. I think it actually goes this way. That I picked up, and I've never knit from a sock blank before, so I am super excited. These will probably be another toe up, just so I can use up every last bit. And this was dyed by Mimi and Steph. That is Mimi et Steph. So it's French. I think they are probably from Quebec. This is 80% merino, 20% nylon. A lot of this is in French. I need to learn French. Something I am learning. It's 300 meters total, 100 grams. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Now, if you're not familiar with a sock blank, so this is a piece of knitted fabric, right? It is in stockinette stitch. You can see the smooth side and the bumpy side, right? And this is actually a double knit. So this is 2 strands of yarn held together to do this stockinette stitch. And then, I imagine this was knit via machine. I don't know, obviously, but that would make sense. So you have a plain or neutral colored piece of knitted fabric, and then you dye it, and you can do any sort of fun pattern you want. And you can either sell it or knit with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the 2 ends of yarn up here. And the first thing I'm going to do is knit a gauge swatch, because fortune favors the prepared. But so there are 2 strands of yarn, so I can knit 2 socks at the same time. I'm not clever enough to do it on 2 circular needles or with a magic loop, but I'm just gonna have 2 sets of needles and just knit a toe and then knit a toe and then knit some foot and knit some foot and knit some heel and knit some heel, and bounce back and forth, like I'm doing with my rib socks. Hopefully I'm explaining that well. So the socks are not going to look like this, right? The socks are going to have brown toes and green legs and a speckle, a much finer speckle pattern in the middle. So I'm excited to see how that goes. So that is a goal. Socks are pretty much my favorite thing to knit. I should share that. Yeah, so it's Mimi and Steph, but the website is in French. So instead of Mimi and, it's Mimi et. Mimi et. Focus. Focus, please. I'll put the website down below. And I got some Shetland wool. This is from Windweft Farms, and this is a 58 gram hand-carded bat. The sheep who grew this wool is called Rusty. The person who sold it very kindly told me who this wool belongs to, and it was lovely. They had a photo album of all their sheep, so you could look and see. So Shetland is probably my favorite fiber to spin with, mostly because it's the first fiber I ever learned to spin. And yeah, so I would like to spin this year. For Hanukkah this year, Josh got me a new drop spindle. So I'm going back in history. It's an Ashford top whirl. For those of you who don't know, for most of human history, every piece of cloth ever made started with this and this. I have a spinning wheel. It's in such bad shape. I should take it to be refurbished, or I should just sell it and buy a new one. Spinning wheels are really expensive. This was $30 Canadian. That thing over there, new, would be probably about $600, $800. That's a worry for another time. Anyway, so I'm going to break in my new spindle with Rusty. Probably. What else? And then the major goal I have is to keep up with Ann P's craft-alongs. So if you go over to Ann's channel, the Emporium of Forgotten Threads, and watch her latest video where she talks about her year-long craft-along and read-along plans, and you join her Discord, you'll know, or you'll find out, that every month, in order to foster a sense of community building, there's a book we read and talk about, and a theme for a craft project we work on, whether it's an old project that we want to breathe new life into or give some love to, or whether it's something new. Prompts every month. And Anne is a dear friend, and and we haven't been able to be in touch very well. So I really want to, if nothing else, keep up with her craft-alongs and read-alongs. For January, the theme is something to do with memory. Or something that gives you memories, something that has strong memories attached to it. I have decided to do two, and they're both new starts. So the first one is, I've always wanted to do a temperature chart. So I bought Sarah Stitchin' Mommy's temperature Quaker pattern. Looks like this. It's a couple years old. You may have seen her work on it. And I'm just gonna stitch on this once a week. In my day planner already, I have a little space allotted for writing down the high temperature. I just thought it would be, I've always wanted to do one, and I thought documenting the temperatures of the first calendar year in the new city would be, hi buddy! Hi puppy! You can't come up, there's stuff on the sofa. Hey! Hey! I'm gonna pick you up. Oh, you're covered in snow! Oh, your puppy covered in snow! This
The
is
guy said he had to go home and my drool started turning into icicles hanging off my jowls.
That's Gimli. He'll be 2. Please don't bump the tripod. Please don't. What was I saying? Yeah, documenting our first calendar year in our new city appealed to me. So I'm gonna do that. I know I'm gonna take a page out of Sarah's book as well. She generally stitches her temperature stitches on Sundays. I think so that she has more to do. You know, she collects a week's worth of temperatures and then stitches each little bit on Sunday. So her Sabbath, her day of rest is Sunday. Mine is Saturday. So this is probably going to be a real quick Saturday stitch. And I'm going to stitch this just on some really basic DMC 28 count linen that I got from Michael's. I already measured and counted, and I put a little marker of where my first stitch is going to go. Wow, this is very see-through linen. Yeah, no carrying threads for me on this one. So that's what I'm gonna do, and then the other piece is a memorial piece. It's from Cottage Garden Samplings. It's the 2 cardinals. I'll put it here. I don't remember what the title is. I'm gonna stitch that. It's a pair of cardinals with some greenery, the word love, and a house. And I'm gonna stitch that in memory of my maternal grandparents. Basically my parents. I bought that chart when my grandfather died, when my pap died. I with every intention of waiting until my Nana followed him, and then I would stitch that for them. And in November she did. She died. Thanks for the condolences, by the way. I appreciate it. I'm trying to like be stiff upper lip about it, but you know, because she was 101. And how lucky and blessed am I to have had a living grandparent at 43 years old, right? And how lucky is my kid to have had close, memorable relationships with 3 out of her 4 great grandparents. Like, that's unheard of, right? We're so lucky. And she was ill, and it was just time, right? So there's that sense of relief on her behalf, but then there's also the fact that she was the only person on the planet other than my partner who who truly understood me as a human being. Like, she knew all my secrets. And why am I here? talking to you about crafty stuff, because of my maternal grandparents. Like, I learned how to knit and hold a needle and sew from my grandmother, and both of them fostered in me, not fostered. I have always been very interested in sort of the old-fashioned way of doing things, making things by hand, whether it be cake, whether it be mittens, whether it be clothing. And they never tried to stifle that. They embraced that. Any of my weird, quirky little interests, they just let me have them, those interests. So, what am I trying to say other than I miss them and I'm grateful that they were my grandparents, and I'm gonna stitch this in memory of them this year. And what I've decided to do is break the pattern up into chunks of 12. And really it's just like horizontal stripes, top to bottom, about 13 stitches tall by the entire length of the piece. It doesn't divide evenly by 13. There's one band that's 14 stitches tall and one that's at the very bottom that's 15 stitches tall. But excuse me, that's nothing to split hairs over. So hopefully I'll keep up with that. I don't have one of my Hanukkah presents this year was Josh is kitting it up for me because it is charted in a floss that I do not use. So Josh found a Canadian source for some flosses, and he did his best to convert them. And I know some of you are thinking, wow, you trust your male partner to do that for you? I do. After 20 years, at some point, you know what someone's strengths and weaknesses are. And one of his strengths is color theory. So he's gonna do fine. So that's still in the mail. That will probably not get started until, I want to say, the middle of January, just given how the mail is. So that is January's crafty theme for Anne's craft along. And I'd like to keep up with that all year. So that's my, those are my overarching goals. And then Jessie shared Milestone Manor, her game that's an homage to Gloomhaven, which is fun. I've always wanted to play Gloomhaven. I never have. Yet, I should say. And I thought, oh, I don't know. And then I watched her video and I read the instructions. And before you know it, I was looking at floor plans. And I guess I'm playing Milestone Manor this year. And I'm going to use the floor plan I'm going to use is the Clue house. I'm just going to use the board game, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. I've only chosen how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 whips. So I think one of the rooms is gonna, one of the whips is gonna go in 2 rooms, because there are only 9 rooms plus a hallway in 9 rooms, including the hallway on the Clue floor plan. And I didn't want to overwhelm myself, so it's a lot of my full coverage, and then Femurs and Fungi and Starry Night and 2 other things. So I'll show you what's going on my Milestone Manor board. You already saw this. This one is probably going to be the hallway, because I'm going to keep having to, you every time you leave a room, you go back to the hallway and have to do some hallway stitching. So that, this is going to require the most amount of work for me to reach my goal on it. So it made sense to put this in the hall. And then I've got Quick Stitch Iris. Are you in here? No, this isn't Quick Stitch Iris. Are you Quick Stitch Iris? You are. Quick Stitch Iris, which is in this Momily bag from Emily C. I was lucky to snag one back when Emily was doing these. Quick Stitch Iris is charted by a company that I no longer purchase from. It looks like that. And I'm stitching this on a 28 count 1/1 full cross. And I just really want to get this done because in theory, this is a gift for my friend I, who loves irises. I found the bottom of the chart. I haven't quite found the other edge. I was going to do this page by page, and then as you can see, I'm kind of branching out. My current strategy on this piece is I do want to finish this page, but what I'm doing is, so I'm finding a color and I'm stitching it on the page, but then I'm also, when I have enough thread, I carry it other places on the chart. So it's kind of like Stitching Mommy's typewriter method, but not really. It makes sense in my head. All right, so that's the second thing on my Milestone Manor board. The third thing is Mini Deer Creek, also charted by a company I do not purchase things from anymore. Who enabled the needed? Darren, Dizzy Stitcher, and Jemima, the Rocking Stitcher. Seeing them stitch this made me want to stitch it too. Which is rare, right? With full coverage for me, especially watching someone go through that journey, that process, kind of makes me feel like I've stitched it too, especially if I've watched the entire time. And so often I don't feel moved. Like something like, just an example, like Amy Stewart's stitching shelf. I'm never going to stitch that. So many people, I'm watching so many people stitch that, from Ann P to Stitching Mommy to, is Jessie Marie stitching that? Sheila, Mrs. Stitches is stitching the mini version of that. Like I don't need to. But I love deer, and something about Mini Deer Creek just, I had to do it. So this I'm stitching on a 28 count Monaco, 2/1 tent stitch, which I'm finding I prefer just speed wise, 2/1 tent on 28. So I am stitching this extreme cross country, at least for now. I stitched all the black, a big chunk of one of the darker grays, and then I wanted some color on it, so I found little bits of color that only had, between 1 and 30 stitches, and I just popped them in where I could fit, just to give it a little color. And also I like the way I started this, is I can now, if I decide, for example, to hell with it, I'm going to stitch one of the deer. Well, the buck's right here. And I'm sorry, yeah, the buck's right here and the doe's right here. I can stitch on them if I want to. If I want to stitch some autumn leaves, I can do that up here. If I want to stitch some pine needles, some pine branches, I can do that down here. So yeah, this is the third piece on my Milestone Manor board. And then the fourth one is, oh, this lives in a bag that Olivia B made that I purchased from her using this really beautiful Blackbird Designs fabric. What's in here? My full coverage, no background that I started last year. It looks like that. Unfortunately, I don't think you can buy this anymore. I got this from Unconventional Cross Stitch. Artist's name is Amy Brown, I think. Stitching it full coverage, no background, 28 count Lugana, 2/1 tent stitch. It's gonna be big. So I started in the middle, which was like right here. And let's see, I think the first thing I did was I counted my way over to the dragon's face because I just wanted to see their sweet little face. That was a lot of confetti. Like a lot. Like a lot. It was bad, but it's so worth it. Then what did I do? I did quite a bit of the black, just kind of outlining the dragon, and then I moved over to the far side and just, I'm kind of stitching in the pencil, pen, and paintbrush. What number are we on for things on my Milestone Manor board? Is this 4? This is 4. Okay. So that was charted by Unconventional Cross Stitch. As far as I know, they retired it this year. And if you're in love with it, I'm sorry. Okay. This lives in a bag that I bought many years ago from Trisha at 3 Owl Threads. Number 5 is the Starry Night sampler that I showed you. Are you in here? No. You saw it. Starry Night sampler is number 5. Number 6 is Femurs and Fungi. Number 7 is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. Blackbird Designs is probably one of my top 5 favorite designers, and that's really silly. Do you know why it's really silly? Because this is the 3rd Blackbird Designs thing I've ever worked on. I did their little Blackbird sampler, their first offerings, and I did a little small basket of cherries, the garden series, the garden club series. I have all those patterns that I should stitch eventually, but I've only stitched the one. I love this. Who stitched this and made me love it? Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff has stitched this. Misty Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts has stitched this. If you stitched this and I forgot, let me know. So I am stitching this using, I'm stitching it on a 40 count linen in colorway is called White Tea. It is from color and cotton. And I am using Vicki Clayton HDF silks. Vicki Clayton, at the time I bought it, like, she does sell silk packs, like silk conversions for charts. And here's where I am. Milestones for this one, since it's not full coverage, I definitely want to finish the border. That's one milestone. Finishing the house is another. The border is intense. I don't hate it. I have to be in a specific mood to stitch it, but oh my God, is it worth it? It's so worth it. It's beautiful. So yeah. And I would keep this in my office all year round, because I am definitely one of those Halloween 365 kind of people. So unfortunately I don't think I'll be able to easily get HDF silk anymore living in Canada. If you have access to it, believe the hype. Believe the hype. It is so good. It's just a pleasure. And I'm someone who, I can't look at a stitched piece and be like, yeah, they used silk, and you can tell, and it's much better than cotton. I can't do that. For me, silk threads, it's all about the experience of the stitcher. It's the experience of using it, and it's so good. So that's why I like it. Your mileage may vary. If you like silk and you haven't tried Vicki Clayton's HDF, do yourself a favor. Get you some. And then that leaves us, that's a nice segue, because it's leading us to the last piece in my Milestone Manor house, which is Alphabetong Filipino, looks like that, by my friend Abby, Abby Bella Stitch. And what this is, it's a red alphabet sampler using all of the alphabets that have ever been used in the Philippines, from the indigenous alphabet to the pre-colonial alphabet, the post-colonial alphabet, and the current modern Filipino alphabet. It's huge. I love it. And it needs some love. It's long. It's long and skinny. So I've got a huge piece of 40 count tabby cat linen in the colorway Wood Smoke, and I am using the called for HDF silks in Gandhi Tango. Here's where I am. I just put this into Pattern Keeper, and I think that's going to make my life a lot easier. So as you can see, like, this is what the original indigenous Filipino alphabet looked like. And then this is pre-colonial. Post-colonial, I'm doing, you could do it in cross stitches. I'm choosing to do it in Algerian eyelets because, focus. Because number one, I like to hurt myself, and number two, I love them. I think they're beautiful. So that's gonna get love this year, and I am thinking that finishing an alphabet would be a good milestone on this one. Also, just, you know, percentages like 5, 10, 15, etc. So yeah, those are the projects on my Milestone Manor board. I would also like to stitch a bookmark. Another thing, Canadians and not Canadians, I am going to stitch north this year. Not this year, in 2026, next year. In April, I'm going to weekend 1. Weekend 2 filled up really fast, apparently. So if you are going to weekend 1, and you might like to sit together or just say hi and chat, absolutely, please let me know. Why did I bring up Stitch North? There is a Smalls Exchange. I would like to stitch something for the Smalls Exchange. It might be a quirky Quaker. It might be something else. I might design something. I could design something. Should I design something? I've got something that's like halfway done that I think I could. Okay, I'm not gonna get, could you see me going up to the edge of the rabbit hole? Could you see my brain doing that in real time? Yeah. Spinning. I would like to participate in the Tour de Fleece this year. What's the Tour de Fleece? That is where during the Tour de France, every day of the Tour de France, you spin on a spinning wheel or a drop spindle, e-spinner, what have you. I'd like to do that this year. My goal, I'd like to pick 2 braids from my stash and spin those. That's my goal. We'll see. Again, right? Like, 'tis the season. 'Tis the season for over planning. Okay, so that is all the talk at, oh my gosh, this is a long video, guys. Planning videos often are, I find. If you're just here for the spinning and the knitting and the stitching, I'm going to be talking about books and a tiny life update from here on out. So if you're good to go, have a happy and safe New Year. You know, please. If you're going to be drinking, have a DD. As a fellow human, as a nurse, as a parent, the people in your life would rather get a call from you drunk at 3 a.m. asking them for a ride than get a call a few hours later saying that you're dead. That's just the truth. So yeah, be safe, and watch your drinks, folks. Don't let them out of your sight. Want to talk about books? I have some reading goals. I try to read regularly. I do not read as much as I would like to, so I'd like to try to remedy that this year. My current goal is to read 24 books in 2026. I know I could just be like, read 26 books in 2026. I might decide to do that, but for right now, it's just an even 2 dozen. I want to keep up with Anne's Emporium of Forgotten Threads book club. Like, it feels like a book club. I've never been part of a book club before, so I'm hanging on to that. We're currently reading for December this cozy little book called The Museum of Forgotten Quilts. I need to finish listening to it. It's cozier than generally I prefer, but it's also set in central Pennsylvania, which is where I spent most of my life. For those of you who do not know, I grew up right smack in the middle of the state of Pennsylvania. My father is a college professor, and So yeah, that's where I come from, what my bones know. And so this book is set in central Pennsylvania, and I can absolutely tell that if the author does not live there, the author spent a great deal of time there. Just the feel of the way a university town in central Pennsylvania is, whether or not it's Penn State, if it's something like Wilson or Shippensburg or Gettysburg College or Dickinson, any of those, like it's got that feel. And also, I feel like the author talked to some folks who live in State College, PA specifically, because there's a character who's like a real estate guy, like the bad guy. Yeah, it's very similar to some real estate shenanigans that are happening and have happened in my hometown. As in this particular family swooping in and buying up prime real estate, like right on the main drag, jacking up the rent. And so all of these restaurants and businesses that are like staples of not only the town, but the university are having to close, like businesses that have been open for 50 years having to close because they can't afford the rent. Yeah, so I'm reading this and I'm like, like this guy is based on somebody or a couple of somebodies. So I'll let you know what I think about that in January. So I'm hoping to anyway, I want to keep up with those books that Anne chooses. I would also like to read a big classic novel this year. I'm thinking it's going to be Anna Karenina, which I have never read. I'm probably going to go do an audiobook for that one. I find that easier with older, denser literature. One of my favorite authors, Joe Hill, dropped a new novel this fall, and I got it for Hanukkah. King Pharaoh. I want to read this year. It's chunky. Joe Hill is an excellent writer if you like scary stuff, if you like spooky stuff, if you like slightly disturbing stuff. Joe Hill's given name is Joe Hillstrom King. He is Stephen King and Tabitha King's son. And he started writing under Joe Hill because he wanted to be taken, he wanted people to evaluate him on his own merits and not as the son of a writer like Stephen King. He is an excellent writer. I own just about everything he's ever written, novel and short story wise. Very excited to get into this. How many pages is it? Okay, so I'm looking at page 880, and that's in the acknowledgments section. So it's like almost 900 pages. I don't mind that. If it's, I love an epic if it's well done. You know, I love me some Dune. I love me some Lord of the Rings. So that is on the list. I have a book I want to reread this, and it's another chunky one. This one's almost 1,000 pages. And it's been about 10 years since I've read it. And that is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. It's a Western. Westerns are my guilty pleasure. If you have not read it, do. I really just felt the need. I want to ride. I want to go riding from Texas to Montana with Gus and Call and P.I. and Newt and Lori and Clara. Yeah. So reread this year. I have two things. I want to read a book that my partner Josh loves. He often teases me that I never read books that he suggests. So I'm going to have him choose a book for me to read. I'm going to do the same thing with my kid. My kid and I have similar enough tastes. In fact, I read 2 books that she shoved at me this year. And I like them. So another book, a book that she loves. I want to read, mostly because, I want to read Agatha Christie. I want to read And Then There Were None, because it's probably one of the best things she ever wrote. And a few years ago, there was, they made another movie of it. And the cast includes Sam Neill and Charles Dance, and I love watching both of them act. So I thought, well, before I watch that, I'll read the novel. And another thing for sure I want to read is this book that my friend wrote. It's a legal thriller. It's called Justice, Justice Shall You Pursue, by my friend Jules Mermelstein. My friend Jules has been a criminal defense attorney for probably about 40 years at this point. He is very passionate about constitutional law and justice. And yeah, I want to read it. I bought his book. I want to read it. And I'm just chuffed. I'm chuffed to read a thriller written by a Jewish guy with a Jewish protagonist. Like the protagonist, Joshua Frankel, is an attorney. Joshua Frankel, how? Like, that's up there with like Aaron Aronson or Sam Levine, right? Joshua Frankel is an attorney who pursues justice, inside or outside the law. When a client says he's being framed for his wife's murder by a government intelligence agency, can Josh help? Is the client telling the truth, or is he guilty? How can Josh obtain justice in this case? And can he avoid getting caught when he goes outside the law? Gonna read it. And then for the other books, I'm gonna try to read along with Anne and just pick things up as and when they strike my fancy. I think that's all my plans, guys. When I speak them all aloud, I'm struck by how unhinged it seems. Am I gonna get overwhelmed? Yeah. Will things be okay? Yes, they will. They will. Real quick, light stuff. It's cold up here in the Great White North. We had a pretty okay Jewish Christmas. We went to go see Wicked for Good, and oh my God, it's bad, guys. Oh, it's bad. I don't remember the second half of the musical being that bad. And I've been pondering, because I saw it probably about 13 years ago. I was helping chaperone some students from my old high school on a week-long trip to London, and it included a show on the West End, and the show was Wicked, and I had a wonderful time. I had no expectations whatsoever. It was just like, okay, hey, free musical, great, free musical, and we had a blast. And so I've been pondering, it's like, was the second act really that bad? And I was just viewing it through, holy shit, I'm in London seeing this on the West End, like rose-colored glasses. Or is the movie version just that bad? Now, when I say it's bad, I'm not saying it's like as bad as, say, the Silent Hill movie or, you know, the Minecraft movie or anything like that. It just wasn't good. I thought the acting was very wooden at times, and there were plot holes, one of which was really glaring, and which kind of made me which is what got me starting to think, like, how did I miss that when I saw it live? And then on top of that is the Hollywood rumor mill, which I pay attention to just because I am the parent of a 15-year-old girl, which is that both the female leads, Cynthia and Ariana, are suffering from eating disorders and potentially abusive weight loss drugs. And in the film, Cynthia's character is physically covered up a lot. Not in a, like, Elphaba's very modest way, but just the way her costume design was. Whereas Ariana's character, Glinda, is, you know, she wears fancy princess dresses a lot. And, you know, you see her chest and shoulders a lot. And it's not good, guys. Like, you shouldn't be able to see the indents of where someone's ribs meet their sternum on their chest, okay? That's not healthy. And so, and Cynthia, the photos I've seen of her on red carpet events has the same thing going on. And it bothers me that there are little girls watching this and seeing this, and the songs are all talking about how wonderful Glinda is and how beautiful Glinda is. And that's damaging, guys. Like, I know that body image issues are a perennial problem. I feel like they're getting worse again in terms of mainstream media. Full disclosure, I am a recovering bulimic throughout high school and early college the first time. I suffered a great deal, and I have a family history of it. My mother is well, I'm not in touch with her. My mother lived with anorexia for a very long time, and then she got it under control. She relapsed when I was in high school. She relapsed again about 10 years ago. So I'm kind of hypervigilant about that with my kid. Now, I feel like I've done, this is getting really deep. Well, I said it's a life update. I feel like I've done a pretty good job, and Josh has too, of instilling a good sense of self-worth and confidence in the kid. But it's still, you know, something I'm gonna worry about. Now, what was heartening is all those things about the movie, about what's going on with Cynthia and Ariana. What I just said to you in the drive home from the theater, like, my daughter was saying very similar things before I could say them. And so, and just saying how, like, little kids are gonna see that. And I was like, thank you, yes, little kids are gonna see that. And get a really messed up idea, even subconsciously, kind of a messed up idea of what beauty is. So, I guess the music was okay. I feel like the sound was mixed very badly, and I don't know if that was the theater we went to or if that was just how it, how it is in the actual film. But anyway, yeah, saw Wicked for good. Really didn't love it, but if you did, I'm glad you had a good time. And we came home and we had Chinese food because that's what Jews do on Christmas Day. It was good. I had some really good salt and pepper tofu. And we've just been chilling. The first week of winter break, we've been lazy. It's been great. And this coming week, we're going to look into a place. We're going to go ice skating. I would like to take a day trip to Montreal. I don't know if we're going to make it. That might have to be something that we end up doing during March break instead. That's fine. I want to look into learning how to cross-country ski because it's good exercise, and I'd really like to learn how because it looks very fun. Yeah. I just ran out of things to talk about, guys. Oh man, it's an hour and 16 minutes in. I'm gonna call it. Thanks so much. I know this is the time of year where everybody's doing a whip parade, everybody's doing a planning video, and if you decided that you were gonna hang out and listen to me talk about what I wanna do next year, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had an okay holiday season. I know it's really hard for a lot of folks, and I hope you were able to find some gentleness and some peace during this time of year, and just it's been a rough one, eh? So let's just ease into the new year. No sudden moves, just glide on in and do what we can, right? Thanks again, everybody. I'll see you in the next one. Not sure when that's going to be. Maybe mid-January, when I have something new to show you. All right. Take care. Be safe. Don't vote for fascists.